we're back to discuss Doctor Strange. And if you watched our review, there's nothing wrong with it. It's another Marvel superhero movie. I was fine with the origin story. I didn't know the character all that well beforehand. I thought the performances were fine. It seemed like the characters were kind of secondary to just kind of pushing the story forward and talking about whatever the next magic bit thing was. I don't know much about Rachel McAdams' character. I don't know much about, the characters that he meets along the way. Like Mads Mikkelsen's character, I kind of get his motivation, but there's not a whole lot of build up to him. He's just sort of already in place in where he's at, which is fine. I guess, they could have taken a long time to set him up and spend time doing all of that, and it's already a 2-hour movie. But I think really what it comes down to is if you want to see a movie in IMAX right now, it's a movie to see in IMAX right now. It's got lots of IMAX effects and cool 3D stuff going on. Our screen wasn't particularly well calibrated for it, but it was still fun to watch buildings flow around and twist and do weird things, and cars flip around 180 degrees in dimension. So I would say if you're not interested in this movie, or if it just looked like kind of a boring thing, they set up that Doctor Strange is going to be in the next Thor movie, and that might be more interesting. To just watch him as an established character interacting with Thor. That scene all by itself was entertaining, so him and Thor as the team seems like a pretty good matchup to me. Yeah. So
the first video we did, I was trying to think of things to say that weren't spoilers. I had a hard time with the ending. I thought the ending was terrible.
Just how it...
Well, it's...
The ending's a time paradox.
He's like, oh, we win, and Doctor Strange is just like, no, you don't. Erases it, and that's it. It's done. It was anticlimactic.
A little bit. It was a clever way out of the whole time loop thing. That seems like a clever
honestly,
Deus Ex mechanic.
I mean, when they first showed up and turned time back and were gonna restore the battle, Wong was already dead and all that kind of stuff, and they started turning back time to restore everything. I was like, okay, that's so much better than we watch that whole fight and then he rolls it all back. Yeah. That would have really been annoying.
Oh yeah.
And so I thought that was cool, and then I honestly thought the time loop thing with the you just have to there's no time in the dark dimension or whatever, so he brings time with him and he creates this endless loop that the guy can either convince him to stop doing, or that he's just stuck in this endless loop.
It would have been fun to know how many times you actually had to go through the loop. They could have just put a counter on the screen. 1 million.
Well, I think one of the subtle things, his hair kept getting whiter the more he did it. Mm-hmm. And it was subtle, but it was happening. He was getting more of that white streak on the side of his head the more it happened.
Okay.
So I mean, I'm thinking it probably took years for that thing to concede and give him what he wanted. But who knows?
It was a superhero movie for me. I'm glad that I got the backstory of it, so maybe if I see him in a future movie or with the next movie that comes out.
Yeah. And it's more interesting than another whatever man story. It's not... He doesn't get superpowers because he's in some kind of industrial accident or something like that. It's a little bit more creative, that he goes and acquires them through study. And
Yeah, I get it.
We also have a valuable moral lesson for today's society, which is stop looking at your phone while you're driving. Stop it! Seriously, you'll go through a terrible crash and lose your.
And become a sorcerer.
and become a sorcerer.
Well,
Sorcerer
yeah.
Supreme.
Yeah, well, I don't know if he's happier being Sorcerer Supreme, but it's certainly the weight of the world is now on his shoulders.
I wanna be a
Whereas
sorcerer.
before he just wanted to be, the best brain surgeon ever.
Just wanted a moment of silence for that car. Poor car.
I do feel like, so I made the joke earlier that now we've introduced the thing that can reset the entire universe. I really hope they don't pull that eventually, because I mean, sooner or later they're going to be done making Marvel movies and be like, I don't know what we do, reboot everything. I don't know, get Doctor Strange out here.
They won't be done, but they'll get to a point where they won't be able to keep, like, they won't have the Avengers cast that they have now.
Right,
Like, Robert Downey Jr. is not going to make Marvel movies forever,
right.
kind of thing.
Well, I'm kind of wondering how, because I don't see right now. I don't see an end to it, and that's a good thing. I like continuity in my movies. If you're going to keep making these things, might as well. I would hate to see a reboot. I would hate to see yet another Batman origin story. Effectively, I know DC, whatever, but you get my point. I don't need to see more origin stories. I don't need to see Spider-Man's origin story again specifically.
Yeah. Well, and I think they took care of that with the last Avengers movie,
Exactly.
where they just kind of, like,
Throw him in there.
plopped him in there already formed.
So I'm just saying I'm way okay with never resetting anything ever.
Yeah, and I mean, when there's 2 Marvel movies coming out now until the end of time, like,
Yeah.
eventually they are going to need
New
to do
cast.
something different. But
I mean, you could always dive into who other people could be that are Spider-Man. We have other Spider-Men.
yeah,
We don't always have to have it be Peter Parker.
yeah, and I think that, I don't know, I don't think that they'll endlessly remake the Marvel stories. I think that at some point, like, they'll either stop it or it'll just be condensed down to the 2 or 3 that are really, like, important or interesting, and we'll get, like Spider-Man, we'll get lots of different Spider-Man. We're not going to get another Thor saga. We're not going to get another Doctor Strange saga. There's not going to be
Right.
a new Ant-Man in 10 years. Like,
That's true.
these are things that just happen because it's super popular right now, and they've got this cinematic universe machine that makes
Can
money
print
by
money.
yeah, they just make money by, oh, what else we got? Let's throw another character out there.
Squirrel Girl.
I mean, as long as they keep making movies like this one, like in the same voice, basically,
Yeah,
people eat it up because it's got good action, it's got reasonable plot, it's got good humor to it.
yeah. And there's 7 and 8 out of 10 movies. I mean, they're not low quality movies. They're not making Fantastic Four.
I can't
Like,
imagine.
they're not making
I can't
Nonsensical.
Batman
imagine.
versus Superman.
Or any of the nonsensical X-Men movies.
I can't imagine this cinematic universe extending much further past the Infinity Saga. Like once they confront Thanos, I think it's done.
It would be pretty hard to, I'd say. It's fair.
They'd have to completely reestablish, i.e., reboot the universe.
Yeah.
Maybe they could just scale it back. I hope they could just scale it back and just say you don't have to make things bigger continuously. You can make things smaller. It's fine.
I think that's going to happen regardless. I think the bottom will fall out at some point, and
That's true.
they won't be able to keep this level of quality that they've put into the series. They won't be able to,
Sustain.
it won't run over 20 years.
It'll fizzle.
It's run for
We're
nearly a damn
Almost
decade.
20.
We're at least halfway through it, is my
Yeah,
understanding.
that seems fair, and I'm okay with that.
So yep. But that's about enough for Doctor Strange. If you like the way we do these, please like the video, subscribe, check out all the written and video reviews at DaleMaxfield.com, and thanks for watching.